What's up, you guys, and welcome back to ConstantlyVariedFitness. I did a poll on my Instagram asking you guys what you thought the movements were going to be, and you guys were essentially all right. Everyone was saying snatches, everyone was saying burpees, everyone was saying muscle ups. We also thought we were going to be thrusters as well, but obviously I feel like, well, at least it's obvious to me, they always do thrusters in the last workout, it seems like, so I don't know what they're going to pair them with. There's also box jumps, there's deadlifts, there's a few other movements they haven't done yet they typically do, so we'll see what the last workout has. But today's workout, 19.4, is a couplet, or it's two couplets, so two different pieces with a little bit of rest in between. So it starts off 3 rounds, 10 snatches. They are power snatches. They are 95 for guys, 65 for ladies, followed by 12 bar facing burpees. So 3 rounds of that. After you finish that, you get 3 minutes of rest. It's mandatory rest. You have to take it. Obviously, it's gonna dictate how hard you push during this workout. And then you do 3 rounds, 10 bar muscle ups, followed by 12 bar facing burpees again. If you are not doing bar muscle ups, it is regular pull-ups. So if you don't have pull-ups yet, we're gonna get you guys warmed up, hopefully prep you up to maybe get a couple of reps out and hopefully squeeze some out. Otherwise, we can almost all do this part of the workout, so we're really gonna push it and see what we can do. The 12-minute time cap, I was watching the Canada live stream. They died like midway through, and I went over to the Germany one or the Netherlands one, and we saw the athletes, the guys finished with about a minute and a half to spare while the ladies got time cap. So it's a very lat intensive exercise, very upper body heavy, essentially all upper body, so it's pretty challenging for the ladies. But again, we're gonna get you guys primed up and ready to go to maximize how many reps you can possibly get. So, a couple things. Talking about these movements, snatches, make sure every single time that you are getting a nice big pull and you're punching your head through and making a straight line from your wrist all the way down your side. A lot of people, when they go through really fast reps on snatches, they drive their head through and they push their butt back behind them, so they're making this angle in their torso. That technically wouldn't count as a rep. So make sure you're fully locking out your hips every single time. Bar facing burpees means you have to be perpendicular to the bar. You can't be slightly at an angle. Your body must be in a nice straight line perpendicular from where your barbell is. Bar muscle ups, if you have bar muscle ups, you know how those go. Dead hang, you can't start with your arms bent and then create a swing. You have to have a full locked out arm position before you come to the top of the bar. You have to lock out there and show you have lockout. Some people, they kind of do one and they kind of press up and away as they're locking out. That technically wouldn't count. Make sure you're locking yourself straight up so you're stacked over the bar. Now, talking about mobility. First one, the thoracic twist. So you're gonna get in a quadruped position, so all fours. Place your hand behind your head. From here, you're going to bring your elbow up as high as you can and twist open, trying to really open up, get a big stretch on your upper back, come back down. Do about 8 to 10 one side, then 8 to 10 the other. Again, it's really trying to open up and get your elbow point towards the sky. After that, banded pec stretch. So you're gonna tie a band on a pull-up bar slightly over your head. You're gonna place your hand through and grab down on the band. From here, keeping your arm locked out, you're going to pull your shoulder down and back so your armpit's pointed forward, and you're gonna twist away from the band, getting a big stretch in your shoulder and your pec. Next, kneeling forearm stretch. So back to that all fours position. You're gonna have your fingers pointed back towards your knees. You're gonna slowly rock back and forth, get a big stretch in your forearms. You wanna make sure that these are really feeling good, because if your forearms are tight at all, they're gonna get blown up during this workout. Maybe spend a little bit of extra time there. If you have a Compex or My Powered Out or any other kind of E-stim, I would spend some time with that on your forearms. I would maybe smash them as well with the barbell. Make sure your forearms are not tight. They are very warmed up, they're loose, and they're ready to go for this workout. Next, banded lat stretch. So you're gonna keep that band over the pull-up bar, or tied to the pull-up bar. You're gonna, again, place your hand through and grab down. You're gonna shoot your body away and then take a big step back and then drive your head underneath your arm. So you get a big stretch down your side. If your triceps are tight, you might get a tricep stretch as well. But down your side, all the way down your lats, down to your hips, should feel really good for a lot of us, because a lot of us tend to have really tight lats. So I really like that stretch a lot. Do about a minute per side on that one. Then lastly, foam roll your calves. I don't have a video for that one, but spend some time making sure your calves are really warm. I would also get a lacrosse ball, and I would spend some time rolling your foot out on a lacrosse ball. This is a lot of extending from all of those burpees. If you're also getting a big hip drive and getting on your toes for the snatches, you're gonna get a lot of extension in your feet from that as well. So make sure your feet feel really good. Do a lot of mobilizing, stretch them out. If you have really tight ankles, spend lots of time in your calves. Voodoo floss your calves if you have one of those. Make sure the calves feel super nice. Smash your feet, because a lot of times we tend to neglect that. And if you've ever done a really high rep double under workout or a high rep workout with like box jumps and cleans, where you're again getting a lot of extension on your feet, the feet will hurt really bad after a while. So it's the same concept here. Jumping, jumping, and jumping. Make sure your feet feel good. Now for your warm up. I want to start by saying that make sure your lats are really, really warm before you even get started. We have a little bit in here, but I would highly recommend doing some banded pull-aparts, something to get your scapula ready. I would do some single arm dumbbell rows. I would do maybe some banded lat pull downs. Make sure your lats feel really, really good because you want them to be nice and tight and ready for you to do this workout, because we have snatches where if that bar starts to get away from you and starts to float out because you're not keeping it tight with your lats, it's gonna make the snatch that much harder, which we want to move fast during this part. We'll talk more about that in a second. So for the warm up, we have a 5-minute row. The goal is to get a little bit faster every time. So start super casual, talkable pace for the first minute or two. Start to build it up to where the last minute or 30 seconds or so, you're kind of pushing it. You're about 90% effort, really getting that blood flowing. Then you're gonna do 10 ring rows with a 3-second pause at the top. Again, focusing on those lats, getting those ready for all the contraction we're about to do with them. Every single time, come to a full lockout. Let yourself relax. Let your shoulders come forward. Pull the shoulders down and back. Squeeze your lats every time. Hold for 3 seconds at the top. But I wouldn't recommend that being your only piece of lat warm-up. Do some other things as well that are gonna warm up your lats. Ask your coach, look up some ideas of what you wanna do. Again, some that I recommend are like dumbbell rows. You could do put a band overhead, pull it down, engage your lats that way. I can't say enough. Make sure the lats and the forearms feel really good because it is all these bad boys for this workout. After you do the 5-minute row and then some lat activation, you're gonna do 2 rounds, 8 muscle snatches with an empty bar. So a muscle snatch is where you just pop your hips, you pull and you punch, but you don't jump and then drop yourself underneath. So once you've reached that hip extension part of the movement, you squeeze your quads and keep yourself planted to the floor, and you just pull and punch the rest of the way up. Use this to make sure your pull feels really good. Focus on keeping that bar close again, and make sure you have a nice snappy hip drive so you're saving your arms. Sometimes people get sloppy with their snatches, and they just drop, and they kind of just yank it up with their shoulders and you get their traps involved. If this gets blown up, these burpees and these bar muscle-ups are gonna get really gross really fast. So make sure you're keeping that bar close and you're using as much of your lower half as you can, because it's not much legs, so utilize your legs. So you do 8 muscle snatches with the empty bar, 8 bar facing burpees, 2 rounds of that. Move at a 90% pace, something you think you're gonna start the workout with, and make sure that you have an idea of how it's gonna feel come the workout. After that, I want you to take 1-minute rest. So do your 2 rounds, 1-minute rest. Focus on taking nice, deep breaths. Massage your forearms and stretch them out to make sure they feel good. I highly recommend doing that during the 3 minutes of rest so that you can kind of recuperate a little bit before they do the next portion. And then after that 1-minute rest, you're gonna do 2 rounds, 8 kipping swings. So pulling down with your lats, keeping your core tight, pointing your toes, nice arched to hollow positions. Make sure they're really tight, they're not just sloppy or flailing on the bar. So I'd recommend, if you've never done a kipping swing before, YouTube it, Google it, because a lot of people do them incorrectly. I make sure people in my gym, they're staying nice and tight, they're pointing their toes, and there's nothing that's relaxed and giving, kind of flailing around. It's a nice, short, choppy swing, so it looks very pretty. So 2 rounds, 8 of those kipping swings, another 8 bar facing burpees at about 90% effort. That should get you pretty warm. You should feel pretty good at this point. Now, for movement efficiency, these are different things I want you to focus on during the workout, because it looks pretty simple. If you have bar muscle-ups, you're like, yeah, I could probably power through snatches, I could probably crush the burpees, but every little thing is gonna make a difference in this workout, because it's all about sprinting, and as soon as you start to slow down, those are the hundreds and hundreds of places that you're gonna be underneath people on this workout. So, it's in no particular order. I kind of just wrote them as I was watching the live announcement, and I was kind of reading the movement standards. But first one is you get to step up in your burpees. I think the past 2 years they got rid of that step up from the burpee. So essentially, you can step your feet back out of the burpee, and then once you try to pry yourself off the floor, you can step up into like a half lunge and then stand all the way up before you jump over the bar. I highly recommend doing this. It's gonna save your legs a lot, and it's gonna save your lower back and your hamstrings from getting all that extension from kind of popping your butt up in the air. So when you come out of the lunge, take a big lunge, or come out of the burpee, take a big lunge step, and then meet back to center. That way you're also closer to the bar. It's gonna save you so much time and energy. Don't jump both feet out, both feet back in, lunge it out, lunge it back in. After that, make sure you're keeping your shoulders back. So, kind of tying back into the snatch portion, making sure we're keeping that bar close. If you're letting your shoulders come out, that means you're not engaging your lats and you're letting everything kind of just fall around, and that bar's gonna start floating away. It's gonna start frying your shoulders, make you a lot more tired than you need to be. So every single time you go to set that bar, whether you're doing touch and go or whether you're doing singles, make sure your shoulders are back, you have a nice big chest, you come and touch the ground, keep that chest tight, and then pull from there. That way the bar stays close and doesn't come away from you. Next, don't stop on the burpees. You will, from my good buddy Roderick, he says it all the time and I repeat it myself because it's so true, you will not fail a burpee. Burpees are 100% mental, and it's how much you want them to hurt. Even when you're breathing hard, even when your chest is on fire, even when your legs are burning because all the jumping you're doing, do not let yourself stop on the burpees. Slow down as much as you need to. If you have to do a burpee every 20 seconds because you're just trying to catch your breath but you're still working on your burpee, that's much better than you putting your hands on your knees and just sitting there. So try to keep a smooth pace once you get tired. Burpees at the beginning should be fast. Hold on to dear life for that second round of burpees. Big kip. If you plan on doing bar muscle ups or you're doing the pull-ups, either one, make sure you're using that kip that we practiced during the warm-up to make sure your kipping pull-ups or your bar muscle ups are very efficient. You're not just rushing through them. A lot of people keep their kip really tight and they kind of just pull to their chest and they end up start missing reps when they get tired. Make sure you get a nice big swing, pull back, and pull that bar down towards your hips before you start pulling yourself towards the bar. Make sure you're keeping that bar down or keeping that bar away from you by using your lats, and then pull below your chest or ideally towards your hips so you can get yourself easily up on that bar. Next, fully extend. I mentioned that earlier with the snatches. Again, make sure once you've popped and you've locked out overhead, you are in a nice straight line and you are from your wrist down to your ankle in one solid piece. There's nothing broken at any part. We're warming up with muscle snatches in the warm-up, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you have like a 250-pound snatch. Unless you feel like you can do snatches all day long, one arm tied behind your back in the middle of your sleep, I would recommend doing power snatches from the get-go, so you're gonna save the amount of pull you're doing, so you don't have to pull as hard on that bar. You can just drop underneath and then use your quads, send up that last little bit. So unless if snatches are super incredibly easy and you can just fly through them, I would recommend doing power snatches. Now for the mental game. This workout, this portion, there's obviously skill involved, but a lot less than you need for bar muscle ups. So when it comes to this portion, push it, make it hurt, get it as fast as you can because A, it's your tiebreaker time, B, you know you're gonna get 3 minutes of rest afterwards where you can take nice deep breaths, try to stay calm, stretch out your wrists, recuperate as much as you can before the second couplet where you're probably gonna die. But it's gonna be a fun death. You're gonna have a great time. And then also make burpees hurt. So like I mentioned earlier, do not stop, push stuff on the burpees. I would recommend 90 to 100% effort on the first round of burpees. If you gotta slow down here, if you saw the Netherlands video, I didn't see the third one. I saw some of Canada, but then it died off. And then I saw the Netherlands one where they were on the last round of burpees. Burpees were really slow, but you did not see them stop. They didn't feel sorry for themselves and put their knees on their head, put their hands on their knees, they put their hands on their head and kind of walk around and try to catch their breath. It's just go. You're not gonna fail a burpee. Push yourself, try to get that work done before a 12-minute time cap. It's gonna be rough, it's gonna be hard. I'm excited for this workout. Let me know what you guys plan on doing strategy-wise for this workout. If you have certain things that you think might be different than what I mentioned here. Also, for one thing that one of my athletes pointed out earlier was, hey, should I truly hold onto that bar and try to go unbroken for all these snatches and really try to crush myself if I feel like it might affect my bar muscle ups? If you have, let's say your max bar muscle ups is 4 or 3 reps or less than that, you might contemplate breaking up these snatches. That way you're keeping your grip fresh, keeping your lats fresh to where you can save it and get more reps on these bar muscle ups, because it doesn't matter what your tiebreaker time is, if you can squeeze out a couple more extra bar muscle ups, that's gonna shoot you up way farther in this workout leaderboard wise. So if you feel like your max bar muscle ups is not very high compared to the average athlete, contemplate breaking these up into 5 and 5. Just that quick 5-10 second break is gonna really save your forearms that much more. So if you're someone that has 10 bar muscle ups plus unbroken, hold on to that bar for dear life. Try to go unbroken for as long as you can, if not, all 3 rounds. All right, those are my strategy. It's my strategy, my tips for open workout 19.4. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments on the workout or the movements or anything like that, make sure to leave it down below. We answer you guys' questions right away before you do the workout. So, if anything is confusing or you have any other questions, let us know there. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you guys next time.